Hey folks, welcome back to our Finding Better podcast. My name is John Suzuki and I am your host. And this is where we share real life experiences of things where we've been there and done that and finding better in our own lives because sometimes the best path to success is just to copy it. And a lot of times the best way to avoid failure is to learn from others who have failed. And so you don't want to copy those. But anyway, this is a John talk, and it's a really fun and relevant John talk because I'm going to talk about the three things that people seem to want to talk about the most these days. Um, at least that's what I've seen with all the episodes that I've done and all the feedback that we've gotten. And the three things are this: they want to talk about money, jobs, and artificial intelligence, AI. And they're the things of our current world. And our world is changing so fast. We're seeing it happening right in front of our very eyes. And part of the reason is because technology is enabling change to happen faster and faster because as technology advances, technology builds technology. And so I've been in technology since 1984 when I started my working career with IBM. I'm not going to go into that, but let me tell you this. Back then, fax machines cost $2,200. So that just tells you a little bit about from where and when I've come. But anyway, AI is changing everything. And the thing is that AI is learning. For the first time, well, we had machine learning that came into being 10 years ago. But artificial intelligence is a much newer thing. And machines are learning from machines. And that's why you are seeing such a rapid increase in the rate of change that's happening today. And it's not going to slow down, folks. It's not going to slow down. So, how does all this have to do, or what does all this have to do with money, jobs, and AI? Well, I want to start with a LinkedIn question that came up from a friend of mine, And this was in LinkedIn, and he posted this. He says, serious question. As AI increasingly can do the work of technologists, coders, designers, engineers, etc., where does the person whose job is supplanted by AI go? Where are the future careers for them? Should tech folks get in line to learn plumbing? What careers are benefiting from the demise of jobs? So here we are talking about tech jobs, okay? Um, my read on this is that everybody is going to be affected at some level, at some point in time, some more than others. Okay, so this is how I answered it. Hey, Carl, this is a tough question since AI is becoming more intelligent faster than we as humans can learn ourselves. Here's some of hello, and welcome back to our Finding Better podcast. My name is John Suzuki, and I am your host. And this is where we share wisdom and our own experiences, where we've been there and done that, and finding better in our own lives. And the idea is that sometimes the best way to be successful is to copy success. And sometimes the best way to avoid failure is to learn how other people failed and avoid it. All right, so I want to talk with you. This is a John talk. I don't have any guests with me today. I want to talk with you about the three things that are the most requested topics that have come across my radar on my podcast. Those three things are money, jobs, and AI or artificial intelligence. Lots of concern these days about money. I'm going to tell you why, and we're going to talk about how you can really improve your money situation. Jobs. The whole job market is changing. And lots of people are losing their jobs. Lots of people are changing their jobs. Anyway, we're going to talk about jobs and we're going to talk about AI. Now, the thing about the world is that the world is changing faster than we've ever seen it change. You're seeing it happen right before your very eyes. All of us are. And the reason why the world is changing so quickly is because technology builds technology. And so now we have a world where artificial intelligence, these computers that are learning on top of each other. So technology is building technology. And as the technology curve increases, it increases at an exponential rate. And so that's why you're seeing so much change happen right before us. I mean, for crying out loud, we've got self-driving cars. I just bought one. I'll tell you a little bit about that later. But anyway, it's an incredible world. Um, Money continues to be a problem. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about how you can improve your money situation. Jobs, is AI affecting jobs or what? Particularly in the technology sector. Okay. But here's the thing, it's going to affect everybody, all of us at some level or another. Okay. Some more than others. And so let's talk about AI first, because everything kind of falls under the umbrella of AI in terms of the things I want to talk with you about today. So I want to first talk about a LinkedIn question that I participated in that was submitted by an old friend of mine. And here's the question. Here's what he said. Serious question. As AI increasingly can do the work of technologists, coders, designers, engineers, etc., where does the person whose job is supplanted by AI go? Where are the future careers for them? Should technology folks get in line to learn plumbing? What careers are benefiting from the demise of tech jobs? Right? And here's the thing, we're talking about tech jobs here, but again, all of us are going to be affected. So here's how I answered it. Hey, Carl, this is really tough since AI is becoming more intelligent faster than we as humans can learn ourselves, right? Here's what I tell my folks. First, high level jobs in tier one technology companies are not as available anymore. And the few that are available are being pursued by far more people than there are jobs. This trend will continue to get worse faster. The better news is that these days there are still many lower tier firms that need help in technology and AI. And this is where folks can evolve their skills as new opportunities arise, leading to point number two. And this is really important. Okay. Warren Buffett famously said, quote, the greatest investment you can ever make is in your own education, unquote. So the future may be less about specializing on things that we know today and more about learning to be scrappy, to take advantage of new opportunities that arise that we may not know anything about and may come up and be created in the future, right? As such, I'm a big advocate in entrepreneurialism. I've done it and I've loved it, and I recommend everybody do it. The last thing, when you broaden your view of the world, remember the learning part of it, right? More and differing opportunities will come into view, into your view. Never giving up, growing your confidence by learning, and having faith in the universe will carry you through. Now, let's talk a little bit about AI itself and beyond this LinkedIn conversation. It's changing everything. It's changing medicine. It's changing self-driving, transportation. It's changing schools and how we learn. It's changing technology. It's everything, everything, right? The quality of our life, or the quality of life, jobs, work, learning, uh, and through it all, there's going to be jobs that are going to be affected where AI and technology is going to step in, but there's going to be lots of opportunities that are going to be created in our new world. So for me, the the order of the day, if you will, is not so much about trying to figure out how to place yourself in today's world, it's important because that's what you have and that's what you got to sell and that's what you got to do and go after. But equally as important, I think, and possibly more important for the future is building your ability to learn, building your ability to be flexible, building your ability to be able to identify new opportunities, right? And guess what? AI can help you do that too. Okay? I use ChatGPT every single day. It is so easy to use and it's so fun. And I'm able to get answers to questions that used to take me hours to research in seconds. So using AI to your advantage and not being afraid of it. Um, they once said that AI is not going to replace your job. Someone who knows AI is going to replace you, right? But as time goes on, there will be more and more industries, professions that are going to be affected. I once had an attorney friend who I got into a little bit of a debate in. And he says, "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, AI is never going to affect attorneys." Are you kidding me? Right? What do attorneys do? They look up stuff and they argue stuff based on what they look up. Well, can humans look up stuff around the world faster than computers can? I don't think so. But still, there continues to be this denial that AI is going to affect what we do. And some people think that they're immune. I hope that they wake up. And I'm suggesting that you do if you haven't. And understand and just assume that it's going to affect what you're doing. Now, I talked with you about my buying a self-driving car. I bought a Tesla, okay, recently. And the reason I'm a man, and you might have heard me say that I'm a man who keeps my cars for 15 to 20 years, okay? I was totally happy with my cars, and I am totally happy with my cars. But the one thing that caused me to go, maybe I'm going to buy a new car after owning my oldest one only for 13 years. And and the reason is because it is self-driving. It is self-assisted driving, meaning I can't go to sleep, right? I have to, it has cameras on my eyes so that it knows if I'm paying attention. And if I'm not paying attention to the road, it goes beep, 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 beep. But I'll tell you something. The thing is amazing. It takes me from door to door on its own. And the reason why I bought it is because I'm getting less and less confident in my own driving. I'm 63 years old. Give me a break. Okay. And so, and also, and the other night it was raining. It was raining really, really hard. And my wife had to head home and I had to stay where I was. And so I told her, I said, put the car in self-driving mode and let it take you home. And folks, that little Tesla, it took her home in the rain and got her home safe. And she called me when she got home and said, that thing is unbelievable. So anyway, AI is a really good thing in a lot of good cases, in a lot of cases, and in most cases, the scary part is that it can be used to do scary stuff, right? So bad actors doing scary things with it. But setting that aside, and what it means to all of us is potentially huge, huge steps forward. Okay, and so here's the thing, and I would say this to a lot of people whenever I would be speaking. There's three kinds of people: those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who wake up and say, "What happened?" Okay, and the "what happened" people are the folks these days who are kind of in denial. And so don't be one of those people. Wake up if you haven't woken up already to what's going on. Understand what's going on. I've just told you a little bit about what's going on. But now that I've told you, and now that you've got those filters lifted out of your eyes, and you've opened up your vision, your perspective, right? Um, you'll start seeing this stuff. Doctors, right? What happens when AI helps us figure out um, cures for cancer? What's going to happen to all those doctors? You know, I mean, I can go on and on and on and on. Nobody is immune. Okay. The good news is that in the meantime, you can do something about it. We can all do something about it. So the idea is to learn, be scrappy, because you know what? If you lose your job and there are very, very few of your jobs available, option one is to compete with all those people who are going after a handful of jobs, or look for new opportunities, look for new stuff to do. And so that is a muscle. That's a mindset I'm encouraging you guys to set. And there are so many places you can ask Chat GPT, ask AI. It'll give you ideas. Anyway, it will. It's amazing. And so you're going to learn, you're going to, because as Warren Buffett said, the greatest investment you can make is in yourself, in your learning, in your education, right? But consider this. This is what I've been saying for many, many years. AI will never replace human connection and heart. Let me repeat that. AI will never replace human connection and heart. It won't. And so if you think about it in those terms, there might be an opportunity in there for you as well. Okay. Um, Learn to change as things change. Because, like I said, the only the only thing that's going to change faster than change today is change tomorrow. Okay. And so you got to learn to be flexible. Build that muscle of resilience, build that muscle of stick to itiveness, of never giving up. And you know what? It's your choice. I talk about choice all the time. The choices that you make from this day forward will let me back up. The product of your life in the future is going to be uh, based on the choices that you make from here on out. I know I didn't say that right, but you get the point. Okay, it's your choice. Um, be an entrepreneur. Like I said, I love being an entrepreneur. You never know what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you about what happened to me in just a little bit, but you never know what's going to happen. And if you've got that entrepreneurial muscle and you build that entrepreneurial muscle and you want to, because you're already an entrepreneur, even if you are working for a company, even if you're employed, you are an entrepreneur and your company is you Inc. or your family Inc. And you are the CEO of your company. Okay. Now, if you're an employee, your boss tells you what to do with your company. But if you really become an entrepreneur for yourself, and you could do this on the side, there's so many gig economy opportunities out there. That will be part of your learning. Start a small business. If you have to, start with Uber. There's an easy one for you. Although I will tell you that Uber drivers are going to become a thing in the past in the not too distant future with self-driving non-attended cars. Okay, they're already doing that in San Francisco, so that you already see the writing on the wall. But do what you can with what is available today and learn. Okay, enough about AI. Let's talk about money. Okay, this is one of my favorite topics, and I'm not going to lecture you. I promise I'm not going to lecture you. Okay, but I have been studying money for 50 years, and I'll tell you something. There are really well-meaning people and really not so not so people out there, right? There's lots of good advice and there's lots of bad advice. But I'm going to tell you something. In my 50 years, I never received the kind of advice that this little book has given me. The book is called Happy Money by Ken Honda. And I am not being paid a commission for selling Ken Honda's books. although I am going to meet him in Japan in 3 weeks. This book talks about money, but where financial advisors in the Wall Street Journal talk about all the same things pretty much. The one thing that this book talks about is your relationship with your money. It talks about the spiritual aspect of money. And it's really, really interesting because, a lot of people get caught in the trap of thinking like, if I have more money, I'm going to be happier. Really? When you think about it, I know lots of very, very wealthy people who are not happy people. They are living lives that I'm grateful I don't have, right? So money or more money doesn't necessarily make you happier. Now, if you're not disciplined, okay, and if you don't understand the things Ken Honda teaches in this book, you're going to make more money and you're going to spend more money for more status. You're going to spend more money to be more competitive with the people who are in your rising income level, right? It's all about keeping up with the Joneses. You're going to spend more and you're going to get more junk. And this is what I call the rat race, right? Is trying to keep up, trying to keep up, trying to keep up. If you can't be happy with what you have right now, it's going to be really, really hard for you to be happy. And I realized that 40 years ago. Okay. Now, let me give you a little perspective here. Okay. 61% of Americans have credit card debt. That credit card debt of the 61% of Americans averages $7,236. This, according to Yahoo Finance and Lending Tree. $7,236. Lots of people have less, lots of people have more, but let's just focus on that number, okay? So there's two problems that stem out of this. The first problem is you're not making enough money, or you're spending too much money, or a little bit of both. Okay? If you're making enough money, you wouldn't be in this level of debt, right? Second problem is piss poor management. Let me repeat that. It's piss poor management, okay? Which means you're not living within your means. And the credit card companies and the banks love you. They love you because you are paying them, and you have no business paying them when you should be paying yourself. Okay? Now, here's the problem. I'm going to take it step by step. These credit card companies charge 29 and 30% interest on the debt on those credit cards. 29 to 30%. Now, you know how much that means? How much money that means? 29% on $7,236 is $2,100. Let me repeat that. You pay on average $2,100 if you are an average credit card debt holder. Not a credit card holder, a credit card debt holder. Now, can you imagine? Most people don't have $2,100 in savings, and yet they're paying the bank, not themselves, $2,100 a year just because they're mismanaging their money. Now, here's the option for you. Instead of paying that bank $2,100 a year, pay off your credit card debt and then pay yourself $2,100 a year. And people go, okay, John, how do I pay off that credit card debt? Well, you know what? I'll tell you something. Go dig ditches. Like I said before, go become an Uber driver and take that money and pay down your debt. Work at night, whatever you have to do. Because let me give you another perspective, okay? That's going to blow your mind. If you take that 2100, okay, you pay off your credit card debt, you go out, you dig ditches, you clean bathrooms, you do whatever you got to do. You get done with your credit card debt and you learn to live within your means. Don't go to Disneyland. Don't buy that new car. Don't buy a pair of shoes every year. Don't even buy your Starbucks every day. It's amazing. You know, okay, let's talk about a $4 cup of Starbucks every day. Okay, $4 is $28 a week. So let's round that up to 30, which is, let's say, 50 weeks a year, $1,500 a year on coffee. So knock off buying your coffee. There's lots and lots of things you can do. Okay, but check this out. If you're successful in paying down your credit card debt, take that $2,100 a year and invest it in the S&P 500. Okay, if you do that every single year for 30 years, do you have any idea how much it's worth? It is not 65,000 dollars or whatever. If you take $2,100 every year, invest it in the S&P 500 and its compound interest at an average 8%. Okay, let me back up for a second. On average, the S&P 500 has returned 8% a year over the last decades throughout its life. Okay? Now, some years is going to be higher, some years is going to be lower. But the S&P 500, just take the 8%. If you take your $2,100 and you invest $2,100 every single year at 8% by putting it into the S&P 500 on average, right? You're going to end up with $256,926.32. Let me repeat that. $256,926.32. Okay? Isn't that crazy? That's the power of time and compound interest. So if that doesn't get you motivated and inspired to go dig ditches, I don't know what's going to. And again, my my personal experience, and I'm not a financial advisor, but I have worked with financial advisors forever. The reason why I put my money in the S&P 500 is because that's the benchmark. That's the success line that all financial advisors measure themselves on. And very few of them make more than 2% above that S&P 500 or make 10% return. Why do I say 2%? Because they generally charge you 2% for them to manage your money. And those who are more successful than that, you can't get, right? They're really hard to get because they are good with their money. So you say, what do I do with my money if I save it? Start an investment account, right? With Fidelity or whomever is out there, right? There's all kinds of companies. Start an investment account and just be disciplined, pay off your credit card debt, and pay yourself. Pay yourself. You know how good you're going to feel? First of all, once you pay off your credit card debt, you're going to feel amazing. You're just going to go, "Oh my God, that is so awesome. I feel so good." And then you're going to say, "Let's go out and celebrate." No, don't do that. Right? Maybe go to 31 Flavors or Baskin Robbins, or maybe go to the grocery store even and get a half gallon of ice cream with Hershey syrup and then use that for a celebration. Don't spend money. Put it in your investment account. Okay? And the whole idea here is this is why I'm retired, is because I did have that discipline. So I'm sorry. I told you I wasn't going to lecture you. I hope I did. I might have sounded like I've been lecturing you, but I'm so passionate about this, right? And there are books. There are lots of books that you can buy that'll guide you. Here's a book. Dave Ramsey. He's famous, right? Complete Guide to Money. Here's the thing. Learn money and get good at it, because trust me, I'm 63 years old and I still need money. I'm still learning about money. Okay. And, but before you get this book, and I'm not being paid a commission for this one either, go out and buy this book. Okay. All right. Finally, enough about that. Enough about that. I just gave you the secrets. If you don't do anything else than what I just told you, you're going to be just fine. Okay. Okay. Finally, jobs. Okay. We talked about AI. I want to tell you a story, my personal experience. In 1984, I joined IBM. Okay. Great company. It was ranked as the number one company in the world to work for a number of years. It was just a wonderful company. It still is. It's the only technology company that has that has survived so long. IBM's at the time I joined IBM, the companies that were IBM's competitors, they were called the bunch: Burroughs, Univac, NCR, CDC, and Honeywell. None of them are in business anymore. Okay, at least in the information space. IBM is. So it's still a great company. But here's the thing. Back in 1984, they still had a thing called pensions. 10 years into my tenure at IBM, on my 10th year I was there, IBM announced 7 cuts in the retirement benefit. Now here's the thing. I had 20 more years to go, and your retirement benefits didn't kick in until the day you retired. So I sat back, and my wife and I were both working for IBM at the time, and we said, you know what? By the time we get to retirement, there's not going to be retirement. And so we made a big decision, probably the biggest decisions of our professional life, and that was to leave IBM. Now, why did we leave IBM? It was because we decided that instead of depending on IBM for our pension, that we were going to depend on ourselves, and we were going to build our own pension ourselves so that we had control over everything. And so I'll tell you something. In 1984, people looked at companies with a 30-year planning horizon. I mean, I had every intention to work for IBM for 30 years and get that silver watch and my pension. And then in the 1990s and the 2000s, that 30-year timing horizon went to 10 years. Okay, where my planning horizon went to 10 years. I'm like, okay, what company can I stay with in 10 years? Then as time marched on, it went to 5 years. Then as time marched on in the 2020s, it went down to 2 years. And I don't know if anybody can plan for more than 2 years these days for any given job. And so from that perspective, the idea is, what are you going to do given the environment that we're in right now? And what I tell people to do, as I've already told you, is start a business. Start a business on the side. You don't have to leave your job to start a business. In this thing called the gig economy, there's all kinds of opportunities out there. And it gives you a mindset shift. It really does. Your mindset just kind of shifts. Like I said, you are the head of your own family business. Even if you are working, even if you are digging ditches, even if you are uh, the CEO of a company, right? Whatever the case is, you are an entrepreneur. You are a family business. Now, if you're an employee, your boss is telling you how to run your family business, right? That should be something where you kind of go, wait, what? Yeah, yeah, that's what an employee is. Believe me, I've been there, done that. Okay. And so if you start a small business, you will learn. And if that doesn't work, do something else. And if that doesn't work, do something else. One of the things my wife taught me was fail fast. Fail fast. If it doesn't work, get back on your damn horse and try something different. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. Don't do that. And you know what? This is an exercise of working outside of your comfort zone, of blowing right through your comfort zone and making your comfort zone expandable and mungible, right? So The more you experience, the more you learn, the more flexible you're going to be, and the more mungible you're going to be, and more flexible your comfort zone is going to be. And it's all good, right? You're investing in your education. And Warren Buffett would be really, really happy. So don't be afraid to take a chance. Experiment. I'll tell you something. This podcast, some of you know that I started this podcast, and I did not start this podcast to make money. Okay. I started this podcast and I still have this podcast and I'm still doing this podcast to make the world better than the day I landed on it by lifting people, because I believe that you lift the world when you lift others, you lift the world, right? And so that is the sole reason that I'm doing this podcast. I'm not doing it to make money. Now, here's the interesting thing. This podcast has been the joy of my life. I have met so many people who I've interviewed, who have come to me to be interviewed. Amazing, amazing people. You've met some of them on my podcast just in the last month. Incredible, just incredible. And here's the thing. Some of them have brought business opportunities to me. Who knew? Who'd have thunk? Right? And a couple of them I'm actually taking them up on. Now, I didn't do this to get business opportunities. They just came to me. And the business opportunities that are being brought to me are business opportunities where I can help make the world better than the day I landed on it by lifting others. So it's really, really cool. Haven't made a penny on this thing, but I've made incredible connections in ways I never would have imagined and in ways I never could have without this podcast, right? So think about that. Just go do something. Go do something you can have fun with and learn. Okay. So with that, we talked about AI, we talked about money, we talked about jobs. Okay? I'm not going to repeat it because all you have to do is rewind. And you can learn some of this stuff. In that money section, I kind of got jumbled up, so I apologize for that. But you get the point, right? It's all up to you. Learn to live within your means and get out of credit card debt. Get out of debt altogether. The only debt you should have is your mortgage. I don't even buy cars unless I can buy them for cash. Okay? Jobs, start a business. Again, get that mind mungible, flexible, the comfort zone thing going, everything. Okay? And know that AI is here to stay. And the world is going to change faster than you've ever. It's the change is just going to accelerate. You're already seeing it and you're already feeling it and you already know it. Okay? So don't get stuck in the insanity trap. Do something different because different is going to start happening every single day. Okay? So, with that, thank you. Thank you for joining me. I hope if not, I hope I gave you at least one idea that you can take and run with and commit to. Okay? Because this is all about you. It's all about wanting to help. It's all about helping you find better because it's really cool. It's really cool. So with that, I love you. God bless you. Please share this because I know you know people who could use this. And subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Bye.